Don't say any more now. Holy Spirit was showing me Mary now is gone now, and everything is going to be okay. And I really thought, oh my gosh, I wasn't listening to the Lord. That my arms were out like this. Think of it as wrapping around. So I hit the answering machine, and it was a message to me. My dear wife was hanging on because she knew that I was sick, and and I think in her mind it was like, who's going to take care of my husband?
My dear Mr. Newton, we've known each other for, you know, more than 10 years actually. I
Yes.
calculated it yesterday before our conversation, and I was like, wow, more than 10 years. And you always have so many stories to share about what God has done in your life, which is so awesome and so inspiring. And even in these years that we've known each other, I've seen so much God's glory in your life.
Bless
You
the Lord.
overcame cancer and you remain strong even when Mrs. Newton passed away several years ago, 6 years, I believe. And me personally, and so many people around you, I know, are really encouraged by your faith and your faithfulness. So, today,
Bless
could
your
you
heart.
please?
Don't say any more now.
I just want to ask you to share with us, with me, all other people who will be watching this video, to share one of your favorite stories, or maybe more than one, even. I know that you have a lot about how God spoke to you. Maybe it was a dream, it was a vision, it was Bible, maybe it was like other people's words.
My stories within the sense of what we're talking about here. I guess you're reminding me of one that I had after my wife died. We were married for 46 years, and we both loved the Lord. And she was really ready to go. And so she died in January of 2019, and I just really sensed that I was not supposed to just hang around the house for the rest of my life. So I prayed about it, and I went back to my organization that I'd worked for as international schools, and asked them if I could if they had an opening for a school director, and they did in Ljubljana, Slovenia. So within about 6 months, I was in Ljubljana. And the heart of the story that I want to tell you about is, so here I was living in a nice apartment in Ljubljana, and I woke up one morning very early on in the time that I was there. That little time frame when you wake up but you're not just fully awake yet. That little bit. So I was laying there, and I suddenly became conscious that my arms were out like this. Think of it as wrapping around. Okay. And I became conscious of that. And I looked up, and there was a patio door that was right outside my bedroom. And it was my wife. And she was walking away. She turned and she looked at me and she waved goodbye. And I realized that I was actually embracing her when my arms were together. And when my arms separated and I looked and she left. Now, I'm not big on crazy dreams and reaching out to dead people or anything. We know King Saul, for instance, got himself into big trouble because he did that. So we know that that's not something the Lord wants us to do. I saw this as a gift from God in this sense, is that Mary, God was giving this to me to show me that Mary was leaving. And not that she had been there that whole time, but that I needed to really to say goodbye to Mary, and it was okay. and I had the sense that she knew it was okay, and I felt it was okay, and it made a difference to me because I don't think I was from that point on I was as lonely, which is interesting. So it's I mean, you know that when you don't know that because you haven't been married for 46 years, but that when you're married for a certain time, you know you always have an awareness of the person that's is in that bed next to you, right? It's just always, I mean, even if you can't hear them or anything, you put your hand over there and just pat to see are they still there, you know? And I found myself doing that on occasion. I would just reach over and pat the bed and realize, oh, she's not there anymore. I never did that after that. So it's to me, it was just, I mean, it was pure and simple without any other need for interpretation, is to say, this was an opportunity for me really to recognize that the Holy Spirit was showing me Mary now is gone now, and everything is going to be okay. You're okay. She's leaving. She's, of course, I believe from the very beginning that she's with Jesus. So I don't think that she visited or anything like that, but I do think it was the Holy Spirit giving that to her.
Sometimes we have doubts, right? And we need confirmation from God that it's not just my dreams, my will, but you, God, want to do something in this situation. And one of your stories is about the school that you wanted to start, and then there was a moment when you were like, is it God or it's just me?
I was a very comfortable middle school teacher at a school, and some friends of mine and some educators asked me if I would be interested in starting a Christian high school that would be fed in by 3 or 4 other K through 8 schools, and I kind of prayed about it. I guess there was a part of me that had the desire to do it, and so I literally was taken out of the classroom in mid-February, and February 6th, as a matter of fact, and I was given an office. I was given a computer. I was given a fax machine, which you probably don't even know, but a fax machine, and I was given a phone with a number and an answering machine, and that was it. And then the directive was start a school by next September, invite students and so on. And at first I was so excited. I set up my office and did everything I needed to do. And I sat there, and maybe a day or two went by, and I started to become very discouraged. And I even had this feeling that God was playing a joke on me. It's like, okay, you asked for this, you wanted this, and now you got it. So now what are you going to do? You know? And I really thought, oh my gosh, I wasn't listening to the Lord. What am I doing? This is crazy. Why did I think I should ever have done this, or thought that I was capable? Because I'd never been an administrator before. I'd never been a principal. I'd never had anything. And suddenly I was this middle school teacher that was suddenly asked to design a school, you know.
So it was the first school to start? I mean, like...
it was the first school that I'd started, yes. So probably about a week in, I came to work, and it was about, I don't know, 8:30 in the morning. I came to work, and there was a flash on the answering machine. So I hit the answering machine, and it was a message to me. And probably most people don't know Minnesota well enough to know where Duluth is, but Duluth is this beautiful port city that's on Lake Superior. That's about 120 miles north of Minneapolis. But anyway, this lady got on. She was on the answering machine. She said, "You don't know me. I don't know you at all. In fact, I was instructed by the Lord to look up Southwest Christian High School, which was our name that we had chosen a week or two before. So I don't even know how she got the name, but anyway, Southwest Christian High School, and I'm supposed to call you and tell you this, but I have to leave it on the message. I just want you to know that God said that you are to keep doing this work, but because this is the work that you've been called to do, and you need to do it. And I went, what? And immediately I started checking any data I could to see, okay, who set her up for this and what, that kind of thing. The person did not exist in any way, the form that I could tell. So it was a medium-sized board up against the head. Like, I better maybe start listening to what the Lord is saying on this thing. The next day, I came to work, and the machine was flashing again, the answering machine. I answered it, and this person said, "John, I know your name because I heard something about that you're thinking of starting a Christian high school in the area." And I met with my friend. We have a prayer meeting each morning in church. And I want you to know that God instructed me, as soon as the prayer meeting was over, God instructed me to call you and tell you that you are doing what the Lord has called you to do, and you need to do it. Then it was like the 2x4. And I said, okay, I better. And it's interesting. I really, in a sense, I still didn't know how to do it. I mean, really, I didn't know anymore after that moment, but I had the confidence to say, I just have to keep trusting God with this. I think he does speak. He speaks to us, but except for this one other incident where I felt I heard an audible from the Lord, I think that he spoke to me through these people, which made it even more wondrous to me because I didn't even know these people.
Angels.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about this school, Mr. Newton? What's going on now? Does it exist?
Southwest Christian High School is an incredibly vibrant school that's in Chaska, Minnesota. It now has 550 students, just 9 through 12, high school.
And I know that you visited this school just recently, right?
Yeah, I did. I did. It's been a while, and they invited me to come and speak to the staff, and I did. I shared the vision of the school originally, and I was very pleased to see so much was there. But the younger teachers. I mean, some of those teachers were students of mine.
Oh,
now they're teachers.
That's sweet.
And as you referenced before, I had cancer. My wife had cancer, eventually died. I had cancer. The day before interestingly enough, the day before she died, the doctor told me that I was in remission, which meant the cancer wasn't growing anymore, right?
Yeah.
And I was hesitant to tell my wife that. So she was in hospice. So she was ready to go and ready to die. And I thought, well, I've got good news. Too bad about you, But when I told her a day before she died. And I actually think my dear wife was hanging on because she knew that I was sick, and I think in her mind it was like, who's going to take care of my husband?
Oh, Mr. Newton.
So she was a dear. Can you tell that I loved her? I'm just so grateful. I mean, I'm grateful for how her surrender to Jesus and her faithfulness and demonstration of his faithfulness to her is a living testimony to me, so that when I start to grieve and start to miss her, or and I do. I mean, I have an empty house. Hello, honey, I'm home. I mean, I have all of that here that's quiet and so on. When the grief starts to come in and so on, I'm overwhelmed with a deep sense of gratefulness. Look
Mm.
at what I got. Look at what I was able to have for so many years. So God is constantly speaking to me in my heart about that. So
This is so great. And again, Mr. Newton, you encouraged me so much, and I just can't wait to post this video and, to hear feedback of other people and make them um, just get a confirmation inside one more time that God speaks today.
he,
Even today, He
boy,
speaks.
does he ever? Does he ever?
Yeah.